Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Musicmakers live stream. Everybody, please let us know that you can see and hear us. And also tell us where you're from. Where's everybody dialing in from today? We've got, hey, James. James is here. Good to see you. Yeah, let us know where everybody's calling in from today. I am in Chester. Adam, where are you? I always imagine you being in Toronto, but I know you haven't lived there for ages. Like, where are you?
Yeah, no, I tell everybody who's not in Canada that I live in Toronto, or I live 2 hours outside of Toronto. I live in a small town in Ontario called Tottenham, which is funny because there's also a Tottenham in the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
and I also grew up in Scarborough, Ontario, and there is
Ah,
also Scarborough in the UK. I found out.
yes. Yes, mate, there absolutely is. Scarborough's like a seaside town.
Oh, my Scarborough is not seaside anything.
Gary's here. Hey, Gary's here from Manchester. He's doing very good because he got a new guitar. Ooh, Gary, tell us, what is it, mate?
NGD, let
What
us
is it?
know.
Come on, let us know. What is the new guitar, Gary? I want to hear about that. Yeah, Michael's got it. Tottenham Hotspur, the football team.
Yeah, I've heard of them before.
Cool. Jamil's here from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Oh, mate, that sounds nicer than Scarborough. I'm not gonna lie.
That sounds nicer than both Scarboroughs.
Emma's here from Glasgow. Great stuff. We need more Scottish people on these shows. I don't know where they've been hiding lately. Ian's here, all good in the Black Country. Oh, that's rock and roll country, Ian. Yeah, you
What's
got
the
great.
Black Country?
The Black Country is the Midlands, so like think like Ozzy Osbourne, Robert Plant. Oh, mate, take your pick. Yeah, they've got that's a hard rocking part of the UK.
Oh, so this is in the UK. Okay, cool.
Yes, yeah, yeah, sweet. Okay, what's Gary got? Come on, let's hear it. It's an Aria Pro 2 Nashville Telecaster. Got a really good deal on it. Great, the Nashville Telly, Gary. That's one of my favorite guitars,
That's it. Beautiful.
dude. That is sick. Very cool. Everybody, thank you for letting us know where you're from. It's always good just to see, where people are from, what's happening. It helps us give a flavour of where everybody's at. Lisa's here from Boston. Hey, Lisa. Ryan's here from Calgary in Canada. Awesome. James is
Can't
here
even
from New
stand
York.
out.
Brilliant, everybody. Thank you so much for letting us know. It is fun just to see everyone coming together to discuss this. Listen, everybody, we've got a packed live stream for you today. We're going to try a slightly different format today. The show's going to be a little bit shorter than usual. We want to try and keep things moving a little bit quicker. Everybody, I hope that you are strapped in and ready for some guitar chat because it's happening. Mark is here. He's from Norway. He joined NGA yesterday. Nice, Mark. Welcome
Welcome
aboard.
aboard.
Yeah, good stuff. Welcome aboard, mate. Everybody, just going to say right away at the start, because I always forget. If you enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel. Remember to like the video. Also subscribe to the channel. I always forget to mention it, and that really helps the channel out. So listen, today, everyone, we have got quite a few things I want us to run through. We've got some guitar tips for you. We've got a song of the week. We've got an artist of the week, and just some cool guitar tips in general. Before we dive into that, if anyone's got any guitar questions, musical questions, topics they'd like us to discuss, questions or anything, please drop them in the chat. Drop them in now, and then we can kind of reply to it as we're going through. So yeah, if anyone's got anything they specifically want us to talk about, drop it in the chat right now. All right, cool. I am not the only host of this show. I've got my co-host over there, Adam. Adam, do you want to just say hey, tell people who you are, where they can get your tunes, and then we'll dive in.
Hey. Uh, sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Tobias. I'm a composer, guitar player, and professional noisemaker, originally from Toronto, Canada, if you haven't been there. And I've been with National Guitar Academy for about 5 years now. Mike and I have taken a lot of time and a lot of pride to put together a huge archive of guitar lessons for all of you that are available at nationalguitaracademy.com. And if you're interested to know where you can see and hear more of me, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Adam Tobias Music, and you can find me on Spotify under Adam Tobias. My latest single is titled I Was Never Here, and it's available on all streaming platforms now, and I look forward to listening to it. Mike, back to you, brother. Let's get into it.
Yes, and it is extremely cool. Go and check out Adam's stuff on Spotify, and get ready because the mags are coming soon. Yeah, my
Nice.
album will be out soon. We've been speaking to PR companies this week, Some good, some kind of sleazy, but like, like kind of like super like, oh, we can do everything. We've got the best, or the best thing since sliced bread.
Nothing is off limits.
Yeah, but some of them were really cool. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Right, listen, it's 7 minutes past. Let's dive in. We've got to do this. Right, what I want to start with today, everybody, is a super quick beginner tip for any beginners who are here that may not know this. Very, very quickly, Adam, I'm just going to bump you to the side while I go full screen to show this. So everybody, on your guitar, all of the notes on the guitar, let me just zoom in a little bit there. All of the notes on your guitar, they repeat after the 12th fret. And a lot of new guitarists don't know this. So like if you know some of the notes down here, they begin again above the 12th fret. So if you know a cool lick down at this end of the guitar, yeah, let's just say it's something like over an E minor chord. Just something relatively basic like that. Well, you can repeat that above the 12th fret and it will still work. So it's quite a cool way that you can, yeah, anything you know down here, like, I don't know, an A minor chord. If you do that same shape up on the 12th fret, that chord shape still works. An E minor down here is an E minor up here. Okay, not really a beginner tip, of course, if you're using those bars to play them. But just a lot of people don't realize the notes repeat. So it's a great way to get more bang for your buck. If you know a lick, if you know a chord, then you can effectively, you're getting it for the same shape, you're getting an extra voicing of that. So it's really cool. And also our ears love hearing the same phrases repeated in different octaves. So if you play something cool down in a lower octave, you're not really sure what's going to sound good next, just play it in a higher octave. It always sounds good, whatever that may be. Yeah, we're always going to enjoy how that sounds on our ears. The notes repeat after the 12th fret. All right, next tip for you is I wanted to share with you probably my favorite key to play in on the guitar, especially on the acoustic guitar, and that is the key of E. I wanted to just quickly show you the chords that are in the key of E. These chords will always sound great together. If we've got any budding songwriters here, these chords will always sound great. Okay, so we've got an E chord, we've got an A chord, we've got B. Now, if that chord's too hard for you to play, then you could just play a B7 chord instead. Yeah, it still sounds cool. It's much easier to play a B7 than it is to play a full barred B chord. Okay, so E, A, B, A, E. They are our three major chords. Remember, every key has got 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. Really simple. 3 major, 3 minor. We've just looked at our 3 major chords. Our 3 minor chords in the key of E are C sharp minor. Very, very cool. G sharp minor. F sharp minor. Go back to the tonic, which is E. Now I think that those chords just sound amazing together. You can combine them in almost any way, and they're always going to work. And because our guitars are usually tuned to E standard, I think it's the best key to play in. On an acoustic guitar, Adam, what do you think? Am I on the right track? Key of E rules on acoustics.
Key of E rules. Key of E is fantastic. I'll show you actually in the key of E, just to kind of further that point. Years ago, I played in like an acoustic punk band, I guess you'll call it. And one of our other guitar players, we had 3 guitar players for an unknown reason. But one of our guitar players showed me this amazing chord in the key of E. Just for context, all of my guitars are tuned to E flat or alternate tunings. So I keep a capo on my 1st fret, and that brings me up to standard tuning. So essentially now I'm in the same key as Mike. But if you're feeling like you want to maybe try to work your pinky finger a little bit, there's a chord that you can play and it is absolutely beautiful. It is an E major add 9. It's a bit of a stretch, especially for beginners, but the reason I'm showing this to you is A, because it sounds beautiful with any chord in the key of E, and B, it gives you a really good chance to work this finger. Now, beginner guitar players, hear me now. Give your pinky finger a shot as early on as you can, because the earlier you start to engage this finger, the easier your life's going to be later on. This is an E major add 9 chord. Here's how we play it. We're going to be open on the E string. We take that basic E major shape that we have and we know and we love, and instead of using our ring finger on the 2nd fret, we're going to take that off and we're going to replace it with our pinky finger on the 4th fret. Now again, it looks difficult, but doing this chord every day is really going to help open your hands up. So even if you can't play it in the first place, don't stress over it. So here we have open on the E string, 2nd fret on the A with your middle finger, pinky finger on the 4th fret, dreadfully, but just for now, and then our index finger on the 1st fret, and our B and our E string open. And that sounds lush. Now if you mix that in with an A major chord, and then go back to E major. And it just sounds beautiful, and you can write any love song with that chord.
Yeah, I was going to say any added 9 chord, like I'm in.
100%.
That's what it's. It's one of the nicest sounds that we have on the guitar. Very cool. It
really is, man.
Very cool. Love that, Adam. All right, let's get to some questions. Right, first of all, Jamil says, can I play guitar forever without ever learning bar chords but using my capo? Jamil, I wish that was so. And to be fair, if you want to, yes, nobody's putting a gun to your head to say you have to learn bar chords. Plenty of guitarists.
I'm gonna come to your house.
Plenty of guitarists, like, they don't learn bar chords and they just play open chords forever and they get by, and that's absolutely fine if that's what you want, mate. That's cool. But please learn bar chords, because instead of just playing, I've got to work out these angles, but like instead of playing, like if you're playing open chords, you're pretty much restricted to the first 3 frets. And okay, you can use a capo, but that means you need a capo. If you can play bar chords, then you're not restricted to that area. The whole guitar neck opens up to you. Yeah, dude, look how big the guitar neck is. Yeah, it's all there to be played. If you never leave this area, then you're going to miss out on a lot of what the guitar world has to offer. So please do learn bar chords. But yeah, if you only play with the capo, Jamil, that's going to be super restrictive, and you're going to keep reaching this ceiling that you can't get beyond. If you learn bar chords, there is no ceiling.
That's really what it's about, right? It's about the ceiling. And you're just going to find at a certain point, there's just certain things you want to do that you might be more limited from than you would like to be.
Exactly.
So it's worth the effort. And for the record, Jamil, everybody asks that question because nobody wants to learn bar chords. Even we didn't want to learn bar chords when we first started out. It's okay. Yeah. Give yourself some time, mercy, and patience. You're going to get there, man.
Bar chords are the hardest hurdle that a guitarist faces in the whole guitar journey, I think. I think there's there's 2 hard moments. One is learning basic open chords like C and D, fiddly shapes like that. And then the next one is learning bar chords. Yeah. We've got a great question here from Ryan. I'd like to leave one of my guitars at my cabin, but the cabin freezes up over the winter. Bad idea, right?
Bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea. Adam, what do you think?
Humidity and temperature control is everything. Remember, Ryan, these are all slabs of wood, my man. Even the carbon fiber stuff that's out there will, in the wrong conditions will seize up, right? So one of the things we want to, be mindful of is how our guitar is feeling. I know it sounds kind of a woo-woo thing to say, but like, keep your guitar in a comfortable condition. It'll play so much better for you. It'll work so much harder for you when it has the right conditions to thrive and flourish. Don't forget too, the wood in your instrument was alive at some point, right? It still needs to be treated a certain type of way. I could get very preachy about this stuff, but keep it in the case with a humidifier, or keep it in a nice room temperature or room temperature controlled room.
Okay, so my take, I agree with everything Adam said. My take is it depends how much you care about the guitar. So like I've got, there's some guitars of mine, like I would never dream of leaving them in a cabin in the winter. But if I just want to have a guitar there and I'm not that bothered about, over, you know, a couple of years, it's going to really take a beating by getting that cold. I would just leave the guitar there, man. You know, if it's a guitar you don't mind, it's a campfire guitar, you don't have any emotional attachment to it, I would say leave it there, but make sure it's covered up, you know, wrap it in something or something along those lines, and I wouldn't stress about it. But if it was expensive or if it really meant something to me, I would never dream of leaving it there in a frozen cabin over the winter. I hope that helps, Ryan. All right, we've got loads of cool questions and comments here. Thank you, everybody, for all of these. Andrew's here, all the way from Maine. Made another life working here for IT at home and listening in. Cool, man. Yeah, he's got the good life. This guy's working at home. He's listening to the Musicmaker's live stream. Very, very cool.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Desmond's here from the Philippines. Hey, Desmond, we've got quite a few NGA team members are in the Philippines. It's a country we love. And also Filipinos, people from the Philippines, they love guitars. Our website traffic, the 3 top countries in the world that we get traffic from is America, the UK, and the Philippines. People in the Philippines love guitars. Very cool. Okay, what's this one here? Gary has said he's playing something at the minute. Oh, this is good, Adam. This is one for you. It's D minor, F major, C major, but I can't find a chord to come after the C major to turn it around, I think. Is what Gary was saying there. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so D minor. Come on, right, we're going to do some live composing here, Adam. Let's help Gary out. Right, we've got D minor, we've got F major, and we've got C major. Okay, so you could hold on the C, Gary. That would be one option, you know, so it could be like you're playing D minor, F, and then if you wanted to, you could just hold on the C, and then go back to your D minor. Okay, but the D minor and the F major work really well together because they're relative to one another, aren't they? They're very closely linked. Those 2 keys have the same notes. So D minor and F major always sound really cool together. The best chord to turn around on is often the 5 chord. So like if you're in the key of F, I need to change this camera. Okay, so I'm in the key of F. And remember, if you ever want to work out what the 5th is in any key, yeah, it's super easy. Whatever the 5th, whatever the root note is, let's say here it's F, the 5th is always there, always. So the 5th in the key of F is C. Yeah, the 5th in the key of G is D. This is a movable shape that you can use, everybody. Yeah, the 5th always sounds great. And what I often do to heighten the tension in songs, and remember, almost all music can be reduced to tension and resolution, is if you turn around on the 5, you really want to get back to the 1 chord. And if you want to really heighten the tension, you can turn the 5 into a 7th chord. Okay, so if we're playing in the key of F, so let's say the chords are F, we're playing away in F, and then we want to get to the C. That's a C chord. If we turn it into a C7, it creates that tension, and then we're dying to get back to the root note or to the root chord. Gary, I hope that helps.
Mind if I jump in here really quick?
Yeah, go for it, Adam.
Yeah, I got 2 really cool suggestions for you really quick. The first one's going to riff off of what Mike was talking about, the C7. So, and the second is going to put you in a different key altogether. Check this out in like 2 minutes. So Gary, your chords are D minor, F major, C major, right? So if we were in the key of F, you go to that C7 that Mike was talking about, and then resolve to the F major. Now that sounds really nice, right? If you want a complete sentence. So that would go... Now, if you weren't in F major, and you were in A minor or C major, you could do D minor, F major, C major, A minor, and then go back to D minor. Or you can end on an E major chord. And then end on an A minor. And then you've got a little bit more to work with melodically. So try those options out. You got a couple cool melodic options in there. You just have to figure out what key you want to be in. Try F major and try A minor. And just super quick for anybody that isn't aware of this, to figure out the chords in any key,
It's very, very easy. All we do is we find whatever the first chord of the song is, for argument's sake. Let's say it was A. Yeah, let's say an A chord, a good old A chord. It's the first chord of our song. We're like, okay, what chords are going to work well with this? Well, we find A on the 6th string. Yeah, that note is A. And then we just come down 1 and along 2. Okay, so these 3 notes here, here, and here, those 3 notes are the 3 major chords in the key of A. A, D, E. This note is A, this note is D, this note is E. So they're the 3 major chords in the key of E. But it's a movable shape. You can use this for any key you want. To work out the 3 major chords in the key of C, go up to C here and say this note is C, this note is F, this note is G. So C, F, and G, they're always going to sound great together because they're the 3 major chords in the key of C. And to work out the 3 minor chords, remember every key's got 3 major, 3 minor chords, you just go down 3 frets and repeat the process. So for A, we've just worked out that the 3 major chords are A, D, and E. And then to find the 3 minor chords, we just go down 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, and repeat the process. F sharp minor, B minor, and C sharp minor. So that pattern there that I've just showed you is like, it's such a cool pattern to know if you just want to quickly figure out the chords that are in any key. Super useful, Gary. So like, if you don't like either of the suggestions that Adam or I made, no sweat, dude. Go and explore. You know, figure out some other chords using that tip. I hope that helps. Adam, we've got a great question here from Suhani. What are the pentatonic scales and how do I play it? Okay. Say A minor pentatonic. So how do I play it all over the fretboard?
So this is a question we can answer in part right now, and the other answer to the question is going to involve some practice. Mike, do you want me to take this one on?
Yeah, cool. Go for it.
Cool, Sahani. So first off, the pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. In Latin, the word penta would indicate 5. So pentatonic meaning 5 tone, and what that means is that it is a scale that only contains 5 notes. So if we're in the key of A, your notes would be A, C. Oh, I have volume here. Yeah, I do. A, C, D, E, G, and A. So what I'm going to tell you is this, because we want to keep our answers a bit concise here. Number 1, you're going to play this shape here. So I'm gonna play this the way that you would play it in standard tuning. So ignore my capo for a second. Go to your 5th fret with your index finger. That is an A note. Okay, for anybody who's in standard tuning, you're gonna go, no, it's not, because I'm playing an A flat. We're just looking at positions right now. 5th fret, that's your A. Your pinky finger is gonna go to the 8th fret. That's your C. Your D is on the 5th of the A string, and your E is on the 7th of the A string. Up on the D string, you're going to play your G, and then you're going to play your A here. Now that shape looks like this. So start with that, and then when you're ready, you can play the upper half of it, which is 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8 on the G, the B, and the E strings. Now, if you go to nationalguitaracademy.com/guitar-lessons, which I will put a link to in the chat momentarily, you're going to find a whole slew of lessons on the pentatonic scale. Thank you, Mike. We've actually just put one in there for you right now that links directly to the pentatonic scale. This is going to show you this shape, and it's going to show you in a couple different keys, and it's going to show you how to execute it well across the fretboard, while also teaching you a little bit of theory so that you can understand it a little bit better. So, honey, best of luck. Make sure you practice.
Yeah, we've got loads of pentatonic. I've got pentatonic stuff coming out my ears, Suhani.
So I've seen it. I've seen the notes.
Yeah,
I did an A on one side, the E on the other. It was terrifying. I called a doctor. Yeah. There was nothing they could do.
Yeah, if when I get out of bed in the morning, if I get up too quickly, pentatonic notes fall out of my ears. That's how much pentatonics I've got going on. So if you want any more information on that, Suhani, just Google National Guitar Academy pentatonic scale, and you'll find guides and videos galore. The pentatonic scale, everybody, is just the major scale in an abridged form, and the minor scale in an abridged form. The pentatonic scale is not a different scale to the major scale. There's only 2 scales, the major scale and the minor scale. That's right. And if we play those 2 scales in their abridged form, we get the major pentatonic scale and the minor pentatonic scale. and they are the best place for all guitarists to begin learning lead guitar and scales, because they're the simplest ones, because there's less notes, but they're the best notes. They're the notes that sound the best most of the time, that are the most portable, movable, work well in, you know, other keys, and also it's the easiest scale pattern to learn. So yeah, the pentatonic scale, super important. Super important. Baz says, lovely sound, Adam, a bit Joni Mitchellist. I assume he's referring to the E added 9
Yeah.
chord. Yeah, very Joni Mitchellist.
Joni Mitchell knew her chords, man. Knows her chords. Is she still around? Knows her chords? I'm going to say knows her chords because I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
she's still around. Yeah, she took her music off Spotify recently, didn't she? She was in the news along with Neil Young. Oh no,
streaming services.
Frank said that his Martin D28 got too cold sitting in the car and the finish cracked. Oh no, Frank, that sucks.
Frank, there are some luthiers who are guitar builders that might be able to help you with that. I actually this guitar, this is my prized Simon and Patrick tobacco finish cutaway, and this thing has traveled everywhere with me. It's got a lot of pressure cracks in it, a lot of finish cracks. You can't really see them for the light right now, but essentially all through this section here, this was all broken and cracked. And if you were to run your fingers across it, you'll still feel it. The technician that works on all of my instruments, Brian, I love him. He actually re-braced the underside of this guitar at the same time that he installed a pickup under the bridge, and it was an absolute Frankenstein job. But if you were to look at this, you would not know one way from the other. So if you can find a really good guitar tech, if your finish is cracked and you have pressure cracks in the top of your guitar, you can maybe look at getting it refinished or rebraced or both, and that'll at least breathe the life that you need back into that guitar. Because yeah, that's never a good idea. And a lot of these cracks came from me driving in unreasonably cold conditions in my car with no heating.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I've got guitars that have been everywhere with me, like festivals, gigs, backstage and gigs, people's houses, parties. I've been camping with them. You know, it's like I really didn't show much TLC to my guitars, you know, when I was younger. And I'm cool with that, man. You know, they lived with me, you know, like,
and
they've got the scars and all of the character from those experiences. I'm completely cool with that. But certainly there's like, I've got fancy guitars, and like, you know, I really look after them.
You better be looking after that PRS in your hand there.
Yes,
that mate, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Do you know, I love the finish on this. As I've mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of PRS finishes usually. That like 1980s over the top flame burst thing, that's not for me. But this has kind of got a more of an understated deal, you know, and I like you can see the wood grain in it as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's something to be said for those raw tone finishes. I have one like that on my rack from Contriver Guitars, and it's unbelievably nice. Very gothic too, which I love.
Yeah, me too. Rick's here. Rick's in New Jersey working out while watching. Yeah, cool, Rick. Good man.
While he's getting his practice. Good man.
Super quick. So Suhani, so the five, Suhani said, how am I supposed to play the same 5 shapes for the other scales like A minor, C, D, etc.? So Suhani, the scale pattern that you learn with the pentatonic scale, the easiest one that Adam showed before, that's a movable scale. You just, like, the scale never changes. You just move it around the fret to wherever it needs to go. So if you want to start it in A, then you begin by playing an A note. But if you play the same scale, but like starting on C, then you'll be playing the C minor pentatonic and so on. I hope that helps. Yeah, Gary says, thanks very much. No sweat, Gary. Yeah, give those chords a try.
You got options.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep saying this. Yeah, I want to keep mentioning this on the live stream. If you enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel. I always forget, and I want to make sure that we keep reminding you guys to do that.
Forget to, right. Sorry, Mike, quick to expand on that. Like, our goal of the Musicmaker's live stream, everybody, is to push this to as many people as possible. I know that some of you already know that the algorithms on these platforms are very finicky. So leaving a like, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel, these all send indications to YouTube that our content is valuable and should be served to more people. So the more you share this stuff, the more you subscribe, the more you like it, the more of this stuff we're able to do, and the more value and free guitar lessons we're able to bring to you guys. So please do, because we really love doing this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we just want to do this, basically. All the other stuff that we do is quite tedious, like emails, social media. It's like, yeah, like this is the stuff we actually like.
We're just two 5-year-old guys trapped in adult bodies just wanting to rip guitar all day. That's basically who we are.
That is true. My wife would agree with that as well.
As would mine.
I just want to give Michael Steele a shout out for some really cool tips that he's sharing in the chat there. Thank you. Talking about caged, different tips for playing lead guitar. Thank you for that, Michael. I appreciate you helping people out in there. Good man. Okay, Adam, this one's for you. Leonard says, when and why would one use the 11th and 13th of a chord? If I don't see it written, I'm not going to stretch for it.
And you're right not to.
So, Adam, am I right? Like I'm not a jazz guy, but they're chord extensions, aren't they? So an 11th and a 13th it's basically extra notes from, the octave above, so to speak, is how I think about it. They're not always from a higher octave, are they? It's just like we number them, like anything above an 8, an added 9, an 11 or 13, we perceive them as being the next time around in the octave. Do you want to just let Leonard know, when would you use an 11 or a 13?
Yeah. So when it comes to optional extensions, Leonard, I typically only use this stuff when I'm working with vocalists. Like if I'm working with a vocalist and I know that I know her style, and I say her because 90% of the vocalists I work with are female. If I know that she's going to be going for those specific extensions, I might color those chords to put a bigger foundation for her voice underneath her. So that's always a really cool thing. Like when I'm not sure what capacity you're playing in, but if you're talking about, I don't see it written, I'm assuming that you've got quite a bit of wherewithal here. If you're playing with a vocalist, you're playing with a band, and you know that those are extensions that are in use. Say you're playing a standard and it's common practice to mix in those 11s and 13s. Then I say go for it, right? Because you have other people underneath you and around you in the band context that can actually help support those intervals, right? So they don't seem like you're just being a jazz cat and throwing stuff in there, right? So a lot of times, I like to use those extensions to color the foundation around the band or around the vocalist. But your mentality around, if I don't see it written, I'm not going to stretch for it. That's typically how I approach things too, because if something is written a specific way and I'm supposed to play it as indicated, there's a chance that maybe there isn't room for that 11 and that 13 in there, and so maybe I shouldn't play that. So play what's on the page first, and then when you know you have the right context for it, go for it. And just to kind of explain that in a bit more layman's terms to everybody, because I know we have a mixed bag of skill set here. Yeah, like Mike said, 11s and 13s are upper extensions of our scales. So if we're talking about our major scale, which is diatonic, which means 7 tones.
AKA, can I just say chord extensions is like AKA fancy chords.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. So if we take, say, for example, a C add 9, right? And we have that D in there. Right? We call that a 9. Technically, D is right next to C. So that's the 2 of C major. 1, 2, do, re, right? But because we're playing it up here, it's in a higher octave in the first place. And then secondly, when we refer to these extensions, they're called extensions because they're extensions of the main scale of 7 notes. So anything past those 7 notes, or the 8 being the octave, we would address as above that. So your 2, the D, which appears in C add 9, is actually referred to as the 9. So we are adding the 9. But you would see that written on a piece of paper. It would say C add 9, and then you would know to play that chord. If you're just seeing C major, if your vocalist isn't going to be playing that D, you probably want to avoid it. If they're playing the C, you don't want to play the interval that's right next to them. But if they're singing that D or above it, it's a good time to throw those things in. So if you want to understand upper extensions, write out your C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Sorry, I forgot my alphabet. And then write it out again underneath. The first row is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The second row is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so on. And that's how you'll be able to understand those upper extensions. Now all you have to do is map them across the fretboard, and you can do that in our Learning the Fretboard guide on our YouTube channel and also on our website, nationalguitaracademy.com/guitar-lessons. That's a hyphen, not an underscore.
There is a lot of free lessons on the NGA website. If you want to dive into any of this stuff in more detail, just head over to our website, search it, Google it, National Guitar Academy, and then whatever it is you're interested in, I guarantee you will find like an epic guide on the site. We spent literally years building that resource.
Yeah.
So please go and check it out. Antonio says, hi, watching the lesson from work. Lol. Nice, Antonio. Doing a bit of skiving. Emma says that she wishes she was. She has both her kids jumping all over. So she wishes she was in work, I think, just to get some peace from the kids, which Adam, I know you can relate to at the moment.
I sent Mike a voice note this morning while my son was climbing all over me. It was we're just talking business and about the company of National Guitar Academy. And in the background, you just got ba 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 ba.
Yeah, he was contributing to the call. Come on,
listen, he's CEO in his own right, man. He's got demands.
Graham says, Mike, can you do a lesson, please, on recording guitar using the USB outputs from, e.g., a Fender Mustang or a micro amp? I'm struggling at present despite the claims. Yeah, so Graham, there's a number of different ways you could do that. So for anyone who's not aware of this, these micro amps are like teeny amps. Like, I don't know, they're about this big. Like this is the whiteboard rubber, but you can see that there. That's about how big they are. And what they do is they slot into the actual guitar jack. So they go there like that, and then they have a headphone jack on them, which means you can run them out. So essentially, it's like you've got a tiny amp that you can play at very low volume. So it's great for when you're traveling, you know, wherever you, it's a really fast and easy way that you can kind of play amplified wherever you are. So they're super cool. Graham, just to broaden this out a little, I wouldn't try and record from one of them because like, it's not going to be a great sound, you know? So for me, those type of amps, that's just like a fun way to practice electric guitar in an amplified way. And it's really something very nichey, you know, that you would do, you know, like if you were on the road or you were traveling or you had no other option, you know, like if you're on a long car journey and you're sitting in the back or something like that, you know, they're really not designed to be made to record. And certainly the sound quality from them, although it is impressive for something so small, I don't think it's necessarily good enough to do. However, if you're just trying to like knock about with that and record some like, just capture some ideas for a song or something like that, then what you would essentially do is instead of plugging headphones into the headphone output, you would just put a 3.5mm, you know, jack cable and then run that to whatever recording source you had. And then, you know, so you won't be able to hear it from the micro amp itself, but you would be able to hear it from whatever you were recording it into. So let's say, for example, you were recording it to, you know, an app, I don't know, on your phone, or maybe you were running it into a DAW on your computer like Logic or GarageBand or something like that. Then you would hear the tone from there. But like I say, it's not going to be a great tone. So yeah, I hope that helps, Graham. I hope that helps. Hope I've answered your question there.
Just to top that one off really quick as well. Everybody, like I always preach, if the minute that you start thinking about wanting to record yourself, go out and buy yourself a guitar interface, or sorry, a recording interface. Somebody in here Andrew Markham had just said, these are super cheap and work great for recording. The Joyo guitar audio interface pocket. Yeah, anything like that. The Focusrite Scarlets are also fantastic. They're cheap, and you can also try out a bunch of digital amp simulators too. Neural DSP makes a lot of really cool stuff. Line 6 makes some fantastic products. And a lot of them are very affordable, and it gives you access to top-end recording tones at a very small price. And what ends up happening, sorry, coffee hasn't kicked in yet, is you just record a dry signal into that interface, and you amplify it within your recording software, say Logic or GarageBand, whatever. And it gives you a really streamlined approach to be able to experiment with recording without having to deal with these USB outs from amplifiers and stuff. I know that a lot of companies try to incorporate these things, I played a lot of amps. I've played a lot of amp simulators. I played a lot of modelers, all those types of things. But a lot of amp companies can't seem to get the USB to the computer thing right. The Boss Katana does it beautifully, but that's the only amp that I've ever seen that has actually been able to make that happen. Now, that's not to say that your Fender can't do it. It's just to say that I'm not sure how it goes about doing it, but getting yourself a recording interface is a great way to start experimenting with recording without the headache.
I agree wholeheartedly. And Graham, Graham, what I would say is, dude, just buy an interface, get a cheap one. I know exactly what you mean. I resisted getting an interface for years because it just seemed like another thing to fiddle with, another thing that could go wrong, and another piece of complexity that I was adding into my life. But it really doesn't. I think in the modern age, where music is so entwined now with technology, you need an interface, mate. It opens up so many avenues and doors for you. There's really no reason not to want one, especially as you don't need to get anything fancy. Like the audio interface I'm using here is like this big, but the one that I keep in one of my guitar bags, it's this big. It's like as big as a bar of chocolate. It's literally just got the one interface on one end and then a USB on the other, and that's all. So they don't need to be expensive. I think that was like maybe 30 quid. So basically our advice is, Graham, get an interface.
You asked because you didn't want to buy an interface, and we told you to do the thing you don't want to do. We're sorry, Graham.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, mate. Yeah, but hey, sometimes, good teachers, they'll give it to you straight. That's what you need to do, mate. I hope that helps.
It will revolutionize the way that you look at playing guitar as well as recording. Because the thing about getting into recording yourself is it is a whole new lens to look at your playing style with.
Yeah, and it just opens so many other doors for other things that you can do. But listen, everybody, we're going to need to wrap this up because we're rapidly running out of time. Yeah. Super quick, everybody, before we run out of time, musical recommendation for you. Song of the week is Hysteria by Muse.
Ooh, good one.
What a band. What a song. I listened to it recently. It's so good. Hysteria by Muse, production, the way it's composed, the guitar sounds. It's just an absolutely epic rock song. I think Muse might be one of the best rock bands in the world. They really might be. I
would agree. They do that whole dystopia thing really well. I love all of their production stuff. Man.
Yeah,
the Manson guitars that he uses as well, Matt Bellamy. They're just so cool with the little chaos pad on it and everything. You can control the lighting. It's mental. So sick.
Yeah, they put on a really great show. Yeah. And everybody, my last tip for you this week is toothpicks. Right, what the hell am I talking about? Right, all of my guitars, this gets loose. Yeah, the jack there where the strap goes on. Not the jack, sorry. The part where the strap, it's like a metal lug. They always come loose on my guitars, and I could never ever fix them for years. It drove me crazy until a guitar tech told me, you just need some toothpicks. Unscrew that part of the strap, put a toothpick in, break it off, and then put the screw back in, and it just goes nice and tight, and it's fine for another 5 or 10 years. Really cool. Yeah, so you basically
just the screw.
Exactly, literally, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's nothing more than that, but it just makes it go tight and saves saves so much of a headache because it basically just packs out the hole enough that the screw's got something to bite into. So yeah, super quick, cool tip from a guitar tech. I hope that helps. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to the Musicmakers live stream. I hope you've enjoyed this. We tried to get through as many questions as we could. Thank you very much for joining in. Thanks for everybody in the chat as well, helping one another out. Very, very cool. If you enjoyed this, please remember 2 things. Number 1, you can become a National Guitar Academy member. Go to nationalguitaracademy.com/membership. You get access to all of our guitar courses, access to our weekly members live stream, access to our forum, our song library with chord sheets and tabs split by ability level. And of course, you also get did I mention the forum? The forum's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I hope, and you also get guitar metrics where you get your own customized guitar learning plan. As far as I know, we are the only company in the world that do that. I don't know any other online guitar schools that offer a customized guitar learning plan for each student. If that sounds fun to you, go and check it out, National Guitar Academy membership. And if you enjoyed this stream, please subscribe to the NGA YouTube channel. Adam, thank you for joining me, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Always
Thank
a
you to
pleasure.
everybody. Go practice. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Take care.